Hello and welcome. A friend of mine just gave me this Dynakit Stereo 70. He's had it for a long time, wasn't using it, hadn't used it in a long time, knew I would dig something like this, so he gifted it to me. And I was shocked because I've always wanted one. And from what I understand about Dynakit is you could buy one of these back in the day, literally a kit, put it together yourself, or the company sold pre-assembled kits. And after doing some research, it seems like the hi-fi community kind of like some frown upon them, because of the kit aspect, and others think they're super cool. They like the saturated kind of darker tone. Maybe it's not as crystal clear as a Macintosh, and that's appealing to some people. I would never buy one of those because I like lo-fi sounds. Not that this is lo-fi, I think, but the, hi-fi slash audiophile community might kind of look down on something like this. I think it's super cool. I'm a guitar player, got many tube amps, so this is right up my alley. I've always had cool vintage speakers, but really sketchy vintage receivers, and when they failed, I've usually just harvested the knobs, maybe take some caps off and just throw them away because I couldn't afford to fix them. And so, but now flash forward all these years later, I work in a guitar shop, I'm familiar with soldering, and something like this is really appealing to me because it's a tube amp. So super stoked. as I'm looking at it, I just see that cap says pyramid. Super cool. I know a lot of people will replace these boards with a more modern board that accepts more readily available tubes. Guess those tubes kind of pricey. Looked online, anywhere from 70 to $100 a tube. So I might do that, but also I might let it ride a little bit. I'm not one that's into full-blown restorations. I've seen people like change out the chassis and fully redo these and make them shiny like they just rolled off the assembly line. That's not me, not by any stretch of the imagination. I like things that tell a story, maybe looked a little relic in a natural way, not like dragging it in the back of your truck. But I'm about to test this with a parts caster that I put together. And initially, when I was gifted this amp, I plugged it into a speaker and there was a hum right off the bat on the right channel. So we'll see if that's the case now. I'm plugged into the left. I would plug it into both sides, but these Amazon Basics connectors are fat and it won't go in. So here we go. We're rocking on the left channel. Let's hear how it sounds. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. There's no preamp, so I'm guessing it's full volume. I don't know a lot about this amp, but let's hear how the right channel sounds. Whoa, do you hear that buzz? When I plugged it in for the first time, that buzz was coming out of the speaker and it wouldn't go away. So let's hear if it goes away when I plug into the right channel. Ah, still there. Whoa. So sound is coming out of the right channel, but the left channel just started buzzing like crazy. All right. Maybe it needs RCAs plugged into both. Maybe that's the deal. but it wasn't doing that before. Now the buzz has flipped when I plug it into the left. Now I hear it on the right. I did notice that this switch, this mono stereo, is broken. It's just loose. So my coworker used to build these. In fact, he might have built this one, he said, because he gifted it to my friend that then gifted it to me. So what he said is to switch the tubes from whichever channel is buzzing over to the other and see if it still does it. That way you could write off the tubes as being an issue, which makes sense. He said he didn't think it was the electrolytic caps because both sides shares those caps, and when it was behaving, at least, that meant that it was working for both sides. But honestly, don't know. There's a lot of old caps and components here. I like that stuff. What we do with tube guitar amps is I don't change the caps unless they're a problem. That might sound counterintuitive because you got to keep taking it in because each one will gradually fail. But when it's a vintage amp, I wouldn't rely on that for like a gig that was really important to me. But for recording and jamming at home, you know, this isn't like a life or death situation. It's not like I'll be playing a record through here and if it fizzles out, there'll be consequences. There won't be any consequences besides me being like, oh, I gotta change some parts. So I'm gonna further investigate what's going on with this. And I might make another video when I fix it up. Yeah, there's definitely some gremlins in there, so. Anyways, so far, I'm really loving the Dynakit Stereo 70, and yeah, party.